All right. Welcome to another episode of the Centre Circle. I'm here with Isaac today. How's it going, bro?
Oh, good. Feeling great.
Bit of pep in your step today. Is that because of a certain result yesterday, or just generally you're all right?
Do you know what? It's generally all right.
That's good.
With everything that's been going on lately, generally all right.
Good to hear.
How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. I can't complain. Just hot-footed it over from my boys' football game.
Ooh,
1-3-1.
Hey.
So happy days.
Hey.
Happy days. John's not with us today, but he'll be back next week in the hot seat. So right, let's just get straight into it. Chelsea 3, West Ham 2. Liam Rosenior, is this his first kind of test of what happens at the top level of management and making sure you get everything right from the off?
I don't think so. I don't think this is his first real test yet. I think he's coming with fresh ideas, a fresh approach, and obviously he hasn't really been out in the media and spoken about what his ideology is, or how he's going to set Chelsea up and giving us one of those tactic board discussions. But you can see the way he is and the way he carries himself in the media and also in and around, his players, and you can see the way the players are reacting with him. And I just think, it's just the bedding in process. You're bound to, some managers are fortunate enough to hit the ground running and, every result goes their way, but this is to be expected. You're not, in an ideal world, you're going to win every game, but in a normal world, in reality, you're going to have some hiccups. So I don't really see any kind of, I'm not using it as a stick to beat him with,
Yeah, and I think the reason why people might be using it as a stick to beat him with is just because when you look at the players that he didn't start in the team, so João Pedro didn't start, Cucurella didn't start, and then he ended up bringing on Fofana as well when he made that triple change at half time when they were 2-0 down. People are kind of seeing it as a little bit of inexperience on his part. That's why I said this is a bit of a test of kind of how his team selections are looked at and scrutinised a little bit more. Because obviously the first half wasn't very good. I'm in a group chat with a Chelsea fan who was going apoplectic at the way that they were playing. And fortunately, he had the tools at his disposal at half time to kind of right the, let's say, wrong that he started his team with. And it's just like, where does he get the balance is the kind of thing I'm asking, in terms of he's got quite a big squad, quite a young squad, and he's shown by his starting lineup yesterday that he was putting his faith in his squad. And West Ham, they've been on a little bit of an upturn, but they're at the lower half of the league. Do you think he might have seen this as, right, West Ham are struggling, this is the opportunity at home to put the fringe players out and see how they get on? Do you think that's what he done with his starting lineup?
No. I mean, you could look at it that way, but then, for me, if you go in looking at it that way, you're already kind of setting yourself up for what I feel to be failure. Like, you're a new manager, there shouldn't be any fringe players in your eyes. Like, as a new manager incoming, like, everyone should have a fresh chance to prove themselves. So I don't necessarily think it's a case of these are the fringe players. I think it's a case of, on paper, we should be winning this game comfortably. So yeah, I might tweak something and try something different. I think it's a bit unfair to label the players fringe players just yet, because we haven't seen if they're capable enough in his system or to play the football the way he wants to play it. And yeah, all right, cool. It didn't start well, but they came away with the 3 points. Maybe one or two tweaks here and there. They've come away with the 3 points. Again, I'm not going to look at him or judge him until he's had a fair shot, at preparing his team, i.e. pre-season. So, yeah, man, as long as he does what he needs to do, which is get them Champions League football, you can't really argue against that.
Yeah. And if you're one of those players who came off, let's take Gittins out because he came off injured after, I think, 20, 25 minutes. But if you're Hato, Badiashile, and you're given the opportunity to start in quite an important game, because like you say, they're chasing for the Champions League spot, and you're dragged off at half-time, and then the team go on and win with a marked improvement in performance in the second half, how do you think that sets them up going forward? Is it a case of get back on the training pitch, work hard to try and get another start? Because obviously they must have done something right over the week to get a start. Or is it a case of, boy, let me...
Nah, man, look, it happens, isn't it? In football, you're never going to have a perfect game all the time. Like the aim is to be consistent, right? So gaming week in, week out, the aim is to put a good level of output week in, week out. There are going to be some games where your performance dips, and to be fair, and to shoot them some bail, they haven't been regulars. So for me, it's a case of a little bit of rust. Yeah, cool, you train day in, day out, but there's nothing like game time, right? There's nothing like match fitness. So yeah, I think it's I'm looking at it as a one-off, and I think as a Chelsea fan, for me, if this was the whole team and you'd have lost, then cool, you whatever. You can point at those certain players, but look, we tried to give them some game time. It's not worked. We'll go back to the drawing board. We'll go again another time. That's it. I think people who are looking for things to use or something to point the fingers at, you just wind your neck in, man. You're doing a bit too much.
And on the flip side, I guess it shows that he can be quite ruthless.
Yeah.
And he's got the confidence to say, oh, I've made a mistake here. I need to correct it.
Exactly.
Let's go out and see what they can do. And they turned it around for him.
Exactly. There you go. And the only thing I will say though, I think he needs to put a certain player on a personal training plan, something a bit unorthodox.
Who's this player?
João Pedro. I think he needs a bit of sometimes some managers might. Glenn Hoddle had the the healer, right? And then other managers might make you do boxing training or UFC or MMA, something a little different. I think Rosenior might need to put João Pedro, take him down the gym, the boxing, the local ABA,
so he doesn't start little skirmishes and then hot-footed to the back.
Wow.
Hold me back.
Aye.
I was going to come to that, but yeah, let's touch on that now.
His life flashed before his eyes, bro.
Yeah, it's a bit of a flashpoint where Todibo got sent off for manhandling João Pedro. But and it's funny because it escalated really quickly. It was like...
But there was no need
Yeah,
for
it was like Traore and Cucurella. Cucurella was a bit naughty though, because he tried to put his head into...
This is what I'm saying.
Adama. And Adama still, he dealt with it, innit? But then
just get out of my way and move on.
Pedro went over on a hype. And then he found out you shouldn't always go with your first instinct.
All right. He went over there to the big guy with the muscles and tried to flex himself. And then when man turned around,
he was like, I made a mistake.
I shouldn't have done that.
It was an interesting flashpoint. Just quickly on West Ham, you go 2-0 up. I know Chelsea make their changes at half-time, but do you think they started the second half too insular? Because the first half, they were on the front foot, they were doing a lot of pressing, closing down, and that just kind of dropped off quite soon. And I know your style of play can change depending on how the opposition have set up, etc. Mm-hmm. But do you think they went too reserved too quickly and that kind of ultimately costed them?
Possibly. I mean, how often do you see them up 2-0 up in the game?
Away from home,
right? So for me, it's a case of you can clearly point your finger at or lay the blame at the door or the footsteps of the manager. It's all about game management, right? So they're going to come at you guns blazing. They're at home. They're the better team. You know this. So I don't necessarily think you should shut up shop straight away. But I think you should aim to take the sting out of the game. Do whatever you can to disrupt their momentum because they're going to come at you. They made changes. The first 5 minutes of the second half should have been key. Like that, Nuno should have been on that sideline, sitting there thinking, all right, let me see how they, let me see what happens. Let me see what they say, and then implement something. I don't care if it's, all right, we do need to shut up shop and get 11 men behind the ball just to soak up the pressure, much like when Liverpool went to Emirates and the first 15, 20 minutes, we had to sit back and just wave after wave, and then we could get into the game. Or it could be a case of get a little physical, disrupt them, get in their heads, bit shithousery tactics. Just something to just disrupt the flow of the game, just manage the game. And yeah, I don't think they done that well, and Chelsea just capitalised.
Yeah, it's a shame because they, like I say, they were really good in the first half, and it's just one of those things. If you can take the first half performance, try and translate it into other games throughout the season, they'll do a good chance of keeping themselves up. But yeah, good comeback for Chelsea there. Anfield, Liverpool end up with a big win against Newcastle.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Yeah, I knew you could. I was going to start there.
Hey.
So we're obviously Isaac and I are in a group chat, and we're talking about the game. Gordon puts Liverpool 1-0 up, and in my eyes, I'm like, that's okay. Like, they've been the better team. The goal's gone with the run of play.
How are they the better team?
Because they weren't allowing us to do anything. For the first 35, 40 minutes, I thought that was one of the worst performances I've seen from Liverpool this season. And coming off the back of such a comprehensive win midweek in the Champions League, I was like, right, Newcastle come to right. They had 4 or 5 corners in a flurry because they were just putting pressure on us. They were last diff challenges, etc. Barnes and Gordon were making runs. I thought they were really good for the 1-0.
I disagree. I think, don't get me wrong, I understand what you're saying. There were moments where it looked like they were on the front foot and we just couldn't find our feet. But that, for me, doesn't necessarily mean they were the better team. I just think if we had a little context to the situation, obviously we know there's a bit of needle between the two teams because of what happened in the summer, because of the game at the start of the season, Anthony Gordon getting sent off, etc. And then what really surprised me was that he came back with the same vim. That challenge, he should have been sent off for Alisson.
I would have been surprised if he got sent off.
And then there was another challenge. He was getting a bit rough. I can't remember who it was. There was another challenge as well where it's that could have been 2 yellows. Never mind what I thought. People might disagree with me, but I thought it was a straight red on Alisson. It's a high foot. You've not touched the ball. You've touched the player. Studs up. So he should not have been on the pitch. So regardless, from that point onwards, I'm discounting anything that they're coming with. And then from what I could see, we were getting forward. When we did manage to get on the ball, we were getting forward and breaking through them. So for me, it was just a moment of when, not if. We literally just blow them out of the park. And we did. We was miles ahead of them.
Yeah, I disagree, man.
Miles ahead of them.
However,
but we do need to talk about someone.
After going 1-0 down, a moment of magic from someone who's been heavily scrutinised, and rightly so because of his price tag. But over the last, say, 6 weeks, I think Mr. Florian Wirtz has shown his vindication levels that were aimed at him.
We'll talk about him, but that's not who I wanted to talk about.
No, we'll get there. But I just want to say, in terms of Florian Wirtz, early on in this season, I came on here and said, he's doing the simple things, but because he's not creating moments of magic that everyone was expecting, that's why people are being harsh on him and saying he should be doing more.
It was a lot of knee-jerk reactions.
Of course. But now we can see the talent. That first goal he assisted, there's no way he should have been able to get through those 3 players. And he started to form a link-up with arguably the summer striker signing of the season, Mr. Hugo Ekitike.
I don't think there's been a better signing so far this season.
He is showing his worth, just in terms of being able to link up play with other players and his ability to create finishes out of nothing. If you take his second goal yesterday, he just caught Pope off guard.
And I love that. I love that goal. And I'm sorry, but this Torres comparison needs to get thrown in the bin.
Yeah, they're not the same.
They're not the
They're
same.
not the same at all.
At all. And if we're being honest, the Ekitike finish was a lot harder. A lot harder.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from Torres' goal. Torres' goal, I remember that goal to this day. I watched that game live. His first game for Liverpool, it was against Chelsea. And he done what he did. I think he got both goals that game.
Yeah.
Right? But you see Hugo, oh, what a player. What a player. He reminds me of Henry. Not completely. He's got that elegance about him when he's moving, right? When he's on the ball, the way he drifts, the way he moves out left. Again, they both Henry's to operate off the left into the forward position. Ekitike can do exactly the same. The way he moves, the way he can just drift past the player. He just reminds me of like early Henry. Maybe not as good as a dribbler as Henry was, but there's that composure, that arrogance, that look at me, I'm the man. You know, this is my domain. He's got that air about him, and it's very dark right now for Alexander Isak. It's very dark.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of seeing Ekitike live a few times this season. What I like about him, he's very direct.
Yeah.
When he picks up the ball, he's not looking to kind of pass it back, be safe. He's very attacking minded, like get forward, let's see what I can create. And watching the game yesterday, two things kind of came into my mind, like you kind of touched on it. Isak, I think they can operate together, even if it means them interchanging between the left and the right and the centre. I think they can work together, because I think having that combination of two is more effective than having Gakpo and Ekitike or Gakpo and Isak. I think they could be quite fluid, and we saw that limited against Tottenham. And it's a shame that Isak got injured in that moment, because we don't know what could have happened going forward. But I think that could be a thing that we see. And secondly, on the negative side, I'm going to cry when Real Madrid come with that big money offer for him. Because
Hugo.
If he carries on the way he is, Real Madrid or Barca are going to want him. And we know when one of them two come knocking, I'm not saying it can happen next season or the season after, but he's only 22. When he gets to like 26, 27, I can see if Liverpool are not in a position to.
So this ties into kind of something that we're going to talk about later on. But the allure of the big the top 5 European teams, right? Real Madrid, Barcelona. Real Madrid aren't at the moment performing like the super team that they are known to be. And obviously we know about Barcelona and their economic struggles. So they're not necessarily in a position to operate like the Barcelona that we saw under Pep and Frank Rijkaard. Who's to say in the next 5 to 10 years? And then also we see the current grip on Europe that the Premier League has. Who's to say that in the next 5 to 10 years that Liverpool, City, possibly Man United, possibly Chelsea, who's to say that those aren't now the top 5 teams, and players aren't necessarily looking at Real Madrid and Barcelona like they used to, because they're not as dominant in Europe. Because let's be honest, when it comes to domestically, it's a walk in the park for those teams. their focus is Europe, right? The Prem is so big. It's playing for a team like Liverpool or Arsenal or City. Yeah, Europe is big, but the Prem itself is just as exciting. Like, do you really want to leave and go Real Madrid? I think going and forfeit. Like, look at Trent.
Yeah, I just believe that the prestige of Barcelona and Real Madrid will supersede anything that comes along. Like, the heritage is there, and for that to crumble would take them to get relegated from La Liga. And you've seen that with Man United. Man United have been nowhere near the force they've been in the last 13 years now that they were prior to the 20 years before that. But they're still able to spend the money and attract the big players in their lull. And even with Liverpool, granted, don't always sign the biggest stars at the time that they're at the height of their careers. This summer, a small exception with Wirtz and Ekitike. But we've always been a draw to players. Players come because of the Liverpool heritage. I will never see Manchester City or Chelsea's heritage getting to the level where, even though domestically you'll be challenging, I would never see Man City and Real Madrid going for the same player and someone going, I'm going to go Man City for their heritage that they've created in the last 10 years. And I think that will always be the draw.
And I agree with you. Like, the Real Madrid move will always be the perception of being like the Galactico perception, right? The Barcelona draw will always be off the back of, if we're being honest, the style of football that we saw them play. Man United, I'll be real with you, Man United, the Cities, the Man United, it's more about the money. I don't think it's about the allure of the club.
No,
I don't think it's about the allure of playing about Man United.
Man United are massive worldwide.
No, they are. Commercially, they are very big, but I don't necessarily think it's about a lot of players. I'm playing for Man United. And shoot me down. Call me. I could be.
You're gonna get some.
No, that's fine.
Hating
that's
there,
fine.
man.
No,
I think it's justified.
That's fine.
Man United are Man United, bro.
Bro, not in this day and age.
They are.
But then you could have said that about Liverpool. Do you remember how dominant Liverpool were in the 70s and 80s, right?
But Liverpool still have that
but
allure.
They were dominant. Okay, but then we went through a period. You couldn't tell me that a player would look at our Liverpool team and would pick that Liverpool team over, let's say, Inter Milan or PSG. We went through a period of that. Regardless of our heritage,
yeah, we did.
Remember, we are the most successful British club, well, English club, in the club to come out of England. We couldn't attract certain players.
But granted, even though we might not have attracted top European players, we were able to attract top domestic players. So we had like Stan Collymore coming in. We had, who else? I'm trying to think of someone in the kind of 2000s who we attracted. Even like Mascherano coming from West Ham. Those kind of players.
But
like
no one was coming in for him at that time. And as soon as he got the opportunity, gone.
Yeah, of course. But I still think Liverpool and Man United from the English league will always have a pull about them, regardless of how badly they're doing.
Yeah, and I don't dispute that. I think what I'm trying to say, and we'll get back to rounding off the Liverpool result, is yes, a pull. You can have a pull, but what I'm trying to say is there are dips. Sometimes that pull isn't as strong as it used to be or it could be, and I think United in this moment, their pull is not as strong as it used to be. That's the ledge I'm standing on.
That's fair. That's fair.
But we've still got someone to talk about.
Who do you want to talk about?
Big Mo Salah.
You're saying Big Mo Salah?
Big Mo Salah. No, of course, Big Mo Salah. You cannot, regardless of how he's playing right now, you cannot take away from what he has done. That he is cemented in the history books.
Usually,
he is cemented.
You want to criticize,
but no, I'm always going to criticize based on you're only as good as your last performance. That I live by that. You're only as good as your last performance. You can, no matter what you've done, write it on the wall, all them records, cool. But what are you doing for me today?
Go on, take the floor. Go on. I want to hear you praise him.
There's no way you looked at him in that game and thought, yeah, this is... Bruv, he looked so poor on the ball. Couldn't even beat the first man on the corner. He got through on goal. He's so scared of using his right foot, he tried to cut back with a defender on his left side and lost it. And bruv, come on, man. What is going on there? And because it's Mo Salah, we can't hook him.
No, you can hook him. I still think he's a threat. And he can have bad games. That's fine, but he will always give you something. If he's on the pitch, he will give you something.
Yeah, I agree. Just him being on the pitch is a threat.
Yeah, and that's what I go with. And I don't think Chiesa will give you anything more at the minute.
No, of course not.
Than what Mo Salah does. But it happens, man. Let's see what happens at the end of the season. I think it'd be very unfair to kind of scrutinise Salah every game and say, like, this is a poor game.
Well, no,
this is a good game.
He came out and said he's earned the right to be the man. So what comes with being the man is the criticism as well. If you want to be the man, if you want to be treated as the man, you then have to take what comes with it. The good, the bad, and the indifferent.
Last 2 games, man, a goal and an assist. Put numbers on the board. But yeah, you want to round this off by saying I'm glad that Konate got his goal. Oh, we know it's been a tough time for him. And yeah, I'm very pleased when his goal bundled over the line. You can see he was emotional. And what I liked is that every single one of the players ran over to him and congratulated him. Yes. Even Alisson, who lost his father a few years ago, ran out of his goal to celebrate with him. So yeah, big up Konate. Arsenal, Set Peice FC were free-flowing yesterday. Is this them showing that they're not just a one-trick pony and that they can go out and score goals in a variety of ways?
No. No. So just don't fall for it. It's a smoke screen.
Why is it a smoke screen? Because there's been a lot of scrutiny on Arsenal's style of play this season, and I will shoot them some bail in terms of, if you find a way to highlight weaknesses in your opposition, why not use it, even if it's not attractive? I remember there was a FIFA game where if you stood in front of the goalkeeper when he's doing a drop kick,
FIFA 97,
you could nick the ball off him and score.
Yep, FIFA 98.
You done it in the game. What's wrong with Arsenal doing it now?
It's not sustainable, man. It's not sustainable. And also, you built this team up, you've brought in these attackers, you've got all this wealth of attacking talent, and they're not delivering. It's not sustainable to then rely on set pieces or goals from your midfield or defenders. I swear Gabriel's their top scorer this season so far.
I believe so.
It's not sustainable, man. They need to, as a title-winning team, show me a title-winning team that's not had a dominant attack or attach someone in their attacking force that was dominant.
So a lot of people have said this, and I think it might have been Drogba when Chelsea won it. He only scored 13 league goals.
But look at Drogba's influence. Compare Drogba to Gyökeres.
Let's not.
There you go. There you go.
Let's not.
Drogba was a menace. Defenders hated him. One man occupying both centre backs, and he might have only scored 13, but he was a threat in the air. His hold up play was top notch. Lampard was coming in with the late runs and scoring goals. So yeah, cool. He might have only scored 13, but there was a consistent threat that was sat right behind him, Drogba, and then they had the wingers as well. So again, it wasn't, their attack was still dominant. It just, their striker wasn't banging in 30 goals, but he's still scoring, still being a threat. What's Gyökeres doing?
Yeah, that's true in terms of his overall game output. I know a lot of Arsenal fans say, well, he detracts defenders and he creates space, but not how we've seen top class strikers do it. It's more bumbling. But yeah, Saka got injured in the warm up yesterday. We're not sure how long he's going to be out for, but Madueke took his chance, goal and an assist. Gyökeres did end up on the score sheet yesterday, as did Gabby Jesus. Arsenal were getting a lot of criticism for the style of play, and obviously after the defeat last week. But as it stands, they're 4 points clear in the league. They were top of the Champions League phase. They're in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, and they're still in the FA Cup. I've seen Arsenal fans having implosions online when really and truly they should be cap in hand to Arteta for being in this position. Forget the style of play. You're still in 4 competitions.
It's hard to do so though. When you all right, look, you've got to look at it again contextually. The last 3 seasons, they've done all of this and come away with nothing. Cool, we've done it again. We're doing it again, but now we're starting to see fruits of our labour, essentially. Nothing's over the line yet, but we're looking better than everyone else. And nothing's different. Like, if we're being honest, nothing's really different. They've just added to the squad and they're still playing the same way. Oh, the only thing that's different is Set Peice FC now. Right?
Yeah, they're scoring less free-flowing goals. I think if you go back to 22-23 season when they finished behind City, the first of their bridesmaid seasons, that Arsenal team was scary in terms of the football they were playing. And a lot of people thought they were going to win the league then. Mm-hmm. But you're telling me as an Arsenal fan, you wouldn't trade what you're doing now for a league title rather than play nice football and come second?
Again,
if they come second this season, then you can be like, okay, we've changed our style and gone against our morals, and it hasn't worked. Fair, but if it gets them over the line, who cares?
I don't blame them. I'll be honest with you. If I've seen my team come second 3 years in a row, we've not had a trophy in almost 7 years, then I genuinely don't begrudge them feeling the way they feel. I know Arsenal fans are genuinely mad, but I don't begrudge them.
I think the criticism is crazy because they are where we were last year. Granted, the gap at the top is not as big, but this time last year we were. We got knocked out of the FA Cup, but we're in the same position, and Liverpool fans were happy. We're like, yeah, we're going to win everything. Arsenal fans are a bit like, whoa, a little bit shaky.
Yeah, but we have the luxury. We had the luxury of getting over the line in previous seasons. You know, since Klopp came in, first year we went to a final. Second year, I can't remember if we won a trophy the second year, but we've been winning or getting very close year on year. So we have that luxury of we don't have that chip on our shoulder or that monkey on our back and that tenseness. We can look at our perform and go, yeah, we'll do it. Or we can look at it and go, yeah, we won't do it, but we're cool. Whatever, we go again next season. Arsenal fans are so tight, tense, and just wound up. I don't blame. Yeah, I hear it. The nervousness. Imagine your team has come second 3 seasons in a row, and now all of a sudden you're challenging on every front. Yeah, bruv, it's tense times. It's nervous.
It is. But yeah, let's see if Arsenal can sustain their lead at the top of the league. Let's go to a result that happened just before we started recording. Man United 3, Fulham 2. Sesko popping up with a 94th minute winner after Fulham pegged back Man United, who were 2-0 up. My question to you is, Michael Carrick, does it get to a point where he's doing so well that the media and the fans pressurise the board to give him the job? I know it's crazy me saying the media and the fans are going to pressurise the board, because the board should do what they want. They should have a plan in place. Do you think they are eyeing someone up and saying, no matter what Carrick does, thank you, but it was only interim till the summer, time to go? Or is it a game-by-game basis where they're like, oh, a bit like Ollie. If he does really well, we're going to give him the job?
I think the luxury of the Ollie situation is they can learn from that and not be pressured into making a decision that they don't necessarily want to make. If they've already laid out the terms of the employment to Michael Carrick, and those expectations are managed, and he understands what the situation is, then I don't see how. I would hope that they don't then cave to pressure, essentially. Right? If you're a member of the board, I would hope that you don't cave to pressure. And you could always point to, well, we did it with Ollie and look what happened. You know, as they say, beginner's luck. Right? I'm not saying Carrick's a beginner, but like that pressure of like, you don't have the pressure of the title of head coach, so you can come in and just get on with it. Right?
Yeah, do we like?
There's less pressure. I'm only here, as far as everyone knows, I'm only here till the summer. So I'm just going to come in, put my best foot forward. Because essentially it's also an audition tape for him as well. For another job possibly, if Man United don't give it to him. But I would hope that, yeah, they don't cave under pressure. But me, I'm a fan of Carrick. He showed... All right, cool, it didn't work out at Middlesbrough, but he showed that he has an idea of what he's doing. Sometimes, which we've seen with Pep when Pep arrived at City, it's also the tools that you're working with. And we also see with Vincent Kompany at Bayern Munich and versus Burnley. They have an idea, but sometimes you need a level of player to execute it, right? And maybe he didn't have that at Middlesbrough, but he's got that now at United, so now we're seeing a better performance from him as a manager, as a head coach. So on that end, I would hope that he's given an opportunity, and it's not based on fan pressure or external sort of factors. He's done enough to convince them to give him the job, but you know, they made it clear, look, it's an interim position. Ideally, we want to go and find someone else who they feel fits the profile of a head coach at Man United. And if that's the case, then so be it.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that it should be just till the end of the season. Because if you look at who's available, potentially Luis Enrique, potentially Thomas Tuchel, potentially Deschamps. Not sure Deschamps hasn't done a league, a club role, so that might be a bit different. If you look at those CVs compared to Carrick's, short term, Carrick might do really well. It might just be a new manager bounce. There's not many games. I think he's only got 15 games in total with them. I think if you can get someone like Luis Enrique in, then it's a bit of a no-brainer. And you say to Carrick, you've done really well, but long term, we think this is the guy to take us forward. I think so be it.
I think with Carrick, he has the advantage of the fact that he knows the league. You know, he knows it inside out. He knows the club. He knows the DNA of the club. He is part of the heritage of the club. And if for him, I think if he can get them fourth, a comfortable fourth, I think it'd be very hard to turn that down, regardless of who you're bringing in, regardless of who's sitting on that list of shortlist of candidates. I think if he can get them fourth and they look good doing it, then he has to have a real chance.
Yeah,
regardless of whether it's Luis Enrique, regardless of and what goes against those managers is they've never managed in the Prem. I don't care what anyone says. It's a different beast. It's a whole different beast. Yeah. Some managers come in and do very well. Some managers come in and they don't succeed, and then they go elsewhere and look good again, because it's a different style of football.
Yeah, very much.
So yeah, again, I think he should be given a fair crack at it.
Yeah, let's see how Man United fare under Carrick going forward. Let's round up the rest of the results of the weekend. Aston Villa stumbled at home to Brentford, losing 1-0. put a dent in their title challenge. Nottingham Forest won, Crystal Palace won at the City Ground. Brighton and Everton played out a 1-1 draw. James Milner itching close to the all-time record appearance record in the Premier League. And Wolves 0, Bournemouth 2. And currently it is Manchester City 1, Tottenham 0 as we record. Ryan Cherky, and I put him on my fantasy bench today. Quite upset about that. And then tomorrow sees Sunderland play Burnley. Before we wrap up, we're quickly going to touch on the Champions League, because obviously it came to the conclusion of the league phase midweek. I had the pleasure of going to Anfield to see us batter Carrick. But what's risen is the English team's dominance in the Champions League phase. Obviously, we had 6 teams in the Champions League this year. 5 of them ended up in the top 8.
Yeah.
Is this just down
back-to-back seasons an English team has won all their games in the group stage? So Liverpool done it last season.
Nah, we lost to PSV after we lost away at PSV.
Yes, you did when they were taking the mick out of us. Yes,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, close to. But an English team has finished top 2 years running.
Yeah.
Is this just down to the financial disparity between Premier League TV money and the rest of Europe? And my second question is, does this even count or matter if an English team doesn't go on and win it?
I think it does matter. Obviously, the group stages we saw that it doesn't mean jack, right? Liverpool looked dominant and then ran into the force that is PSG, who haven't looked great this season, and then also lost to Chelsea.
Yep.
In the Club World Cup. So, yes, don't get me wrong, you take it with a pinch of salt, but you can't deny the financial power that the Premier League wields in comparison to the other top leagues, right? And it's the gap is getting wider in terms of the Premier League's ability to attract top talent in terms of players and then also managers. The other leagues are not looking good whatsoever. I mean, the French league is literally just PSG. And then the gap between them and the rivals, what is it, Marseille? Yeah,
it's a bit of an anomaly this season in terms of Liga. Like Lens are top at the minute; they're a point ahead. PSG have got a game in hand, so it's a little bit closer this year. But generally,
PSG will walk away with that.
PSG normally dominate the French league. In Spain, you got 1 or 2 teams, Barcelona or Real Madrid. You go to Germany, it's only Bayern Munich. We had the anomaly that was Leverkusen a couple seasons ago.
And then the Serie A, the general level of the Serie A has just dropped.
Massively.
Like, don't get me wrong, Inter done well to get to the final. I think it was back-to-back finals for them.
Yeah, you've done me there. But even this season, like Liverpool went there and won comfortably. Arsenal beat them comfortably.
For me, the general level of the Serie A has just not been great for a little while. I mean, you look at a period when AC Milan pretty much fielded, 10, 11 Hall of Famers?
Top. Like even the 2005 team that we beat, top team.
And then you compare that to the AC Milan team now.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek running the midfield.
So yeah,
So are you expecting an English team to win the Champions League this year?
No.
So even after all this that we've just said,
I don't think an English team, because they're different. Again, like I said, you take it with a pinch of salt, and what matters is the knockout stage. We all know the beast that Real Madrid turn into when it comes to the Champions League knockouts. We saw what PSG can do. Inter Milan have been quite consistent in the knockout stages. My concern as a general fan of football is that the level the general level of these other leagues seems to be falling away in comparison to the Premier League, and that's because of the Premier League's ability,
The financial power.
ability, financial power. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, if I drop Burnley into the La Liga, are they going to perform? Are they going to be a comfortable mid-table team?
I believe so, you know. You put Burnley in the Liga, they finished top 10.
You think so?
I think they finished top 10 easily.
So then that speaks to the concern of the monopoly of the Premier League.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right?
I guess so.
And okay, so then the question is, like, does something need to be done about it? Do
But it's not for
who is it? UEFA? Like,
it's not for the powers though. It's for those organisations to realise their worth and upscale, because the Premier League haven't always had the best players, and we've always managed to sell our product globally at a high price. Where there's been some seasons where Serie A and Liga haven't, they've been like 2-3 weeks out from the season with no television rights.
Yeah.
So those organisations need to look at their product and be like, how do we market this? And for all the faults of the Premier League, their marketing 10-10.
So you think it's a case of good marketing, having the right broadcaster, i.e. Sky, in the early stages? Okay.
Because if you go back 20 odd years and you say, look at that AC Milan team that got to the Champions League final that we beat, why were TV companies not paying top dollar to watch those players week in, week out? Why is it that the Premier League, not that we had mediocre players, but we didn't have like global superstars, like say the top players. We didn't have like R9. We didn't have like Raul.
Yeah, no, you're right. And a lot of our players were leaving to
and they've gone to, and I know
those leagues.
I'm not sure if it's still the same, but there was a pay disparity with the TV money in Spain. So in the Premier League, everyone gets the same money.
Yeah.
In Spain, Barcelona and Real Madrid
yeah.
had the monopoly, which was ridiculous. I understand why they did it, but ridiculous.
Do you think that could have aided to the kind of downfall of the league, of La Liga versus, or like you said, the Prem, where everyone gets, like, it obviously it's a pyramid, but everyone's eating.
Yeah.
So the general level is they're able to buy better players, and then the general level. And
we've seen players leave top teams in Europe and come to not necessarily relegation for the teams, but lower league. Take Granit Xhaka, for example. Yeah. He's left a league-winning Bayer Leverkusen team to go to Sunderland, who were relegation candidates, and he's probably on the same money, if not more.
Yeah. I think that there are other factors in that. I obviously Javi Alonso left. I
know, but I'm saying,
I agree.
We've seen that kind of happen quite a lot. The money is a factor, but the other leagues have got to get their product up, man. Simple as, man. Get your product up, and you'll do better. But it'll be interesting to see who wins the Champions League and whether
who do you think an English team is going to win it?
I think they will.
I think an English team will get to the final.
Yep.
But winning it's
weird,
story.
Like Real Madrid, Barca, Bayern, and the Italian teams, they're not that scary anymore.
No, they're not, but they know how to win in knockout games.
That is true.
They haven't, let's be honest, a lot of them haven't been scary for a little while. A lot of them. They haven't been.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy how times change. But let us know what you think in the comments, etc. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff, comment, and we'll be back next week. Peace.